Hey guys, it's Wanda. And I know it's early. It's 7:22. I have been up since 5:30, but it's going to be one of those crazy days, right? My new tumblers. It's going to be one of those crazy days. Isn't that gorgeous? I've got coffee on the stove, getting it ready, and I'm using the perk pot. Thank you, Sherry at Two Family Homestead. That's one of the best things that I've gotten she sent that a couple of years ago, 2-3 years ago, and I use this especially during the winter. Now I have my little quick fix pot. That's what I call it. You run in here, you fix a cup, and you're ready to go. But today's cold, and for us, we don't have a lot of cold days, but we have some cool days. Today the temperature starts dropping gradually, and we have some really cool temps. But on the back of my stove, I have some beef going, beef broth, bones that I did yesterday. Took the meat off, got the broth. We're going out to the canning kitchen. It's cold. I'm taking my new tumbler, and they are on Etsy. I don't know how long they'll be there. I don't have that many. I only ordered like 4, 5, 6 left. I don't know. I ordered just a few to see how they would sell, if it was worth the shipping, things like that. And the tumblers seem to be doing great. I did a video, I just haven't gotten it edited and up yet, showing how putting this coffee into this tumbler, how long it would stay warm. Actually hot. And so hopefully that'll come up sometime. I don't know if it'll get up before this video or after this video. I'm just having a lot going on right now. So we're going out to do beef broth. I'm going to show you what I'm doing to have broth and meat to make beef rice for future use. All I have to do is open a jar, throw the rice into it, boil it for a while till the rice is done, and we're ready to eat. Hey guys, I'm Wanda and welcome to the canning kitchen. This is my outdoor canning kitchen in my she shed that Danny built, where it also, I guess, doubles as a carport out here because we keep the car and the Ranger under here. Danny's got the Ranger, he's working on the new barn, and I've got to can broth. In an earlier clip I showed you the broth inside. It's about 8 o'clock this morning. It's misty outside, and I'll show you a little of that in a little bit. But guys, the canning kitchen is open. First off, we take this board off. It serves as a table in here or a counter space when I need it, and it keeps my stove clean. So we have to take this off first. I keep my towels that I take my jars out on, and I got a chicken loose, y'all. She kind of got out when I was feeding them. All right, dear, go find somewhere. Go find your friends. This is what I use. I lay on the side over here to put my jars out and let them cool. Hey, get out here. Okay, so she was coming under my shed. I had to run her off. This is ready for the jars. I've got the broth and the meat ready. I took 2 packs of bones out yesterday, soup bones, put them in the boiler, boiled them down. I have about 3/4 of a pot of broth and meat. So we're gonna have both in there, which means if I have both, I have to go the 1.5 hours. This is going to be how I can for one bone broth. Right now I have all my pots out. I have my canner with water in it sitting there getting warm. I've got it on a low temp just to heat it up. I've got the broth and meat going. I've got all my utensils out. I'm headed in to get jars, and we'll be ready to can beef broth for one. We are in the canning room. I call it my storage room, my canning storage room. And I have already washed all these jars. I just put some of them in here yesterday. All right, I've got 7 jars here. I'm going to use this, since it's empty, to tote them in, because my canner holds 7. I have a Presto canner, and It holds 7 quarts or 9 pints. If I do not have enough broth, and I'm pretty sure I don't have enough to do 7 quarts, I'm going to do some beans. I'm going to put dried beans in here to finish out my canner because I like dried beans on occasion, and it's easier just to open a jar ready to eat. 1 quart of dried beans is enough for 2 people or 2 meals for 1 person. That's why I do a quart, because Danny doesn't eat dried beans. It is for 1 person, 2 meals. The broth will fit in. I'll do enough here to add 1/4 cup of rice when I open it and cook it, and that's 1 to 2 meals for 1 person, according to how much rice you want at the time. So let's get back outside in the canning kitchen. I have all my tools here. These tongs are to get the jars out of the canner once they're hot. I have a stainless funnel to put stuff in my jars. I have my jars, I have my rings, I have my lids. I have this stainless ladle. Miss Lippy sent me this, and I use it as a stir stick to get the air bubbles out. And I have my teaspoon because, sorry, Candy's wanting food again. I have my teaspoon because we're doing quarts, and it takes a teaspoon of non-iodized salt. Now I have 5 here that are ball, because you know we use the ball, and I'm going to put 5 of them, but I had a company send me a whole bunch of lids, so I'm using 2 of them, and not much difference, guys, but we're going to see. We're going to do the ultimate test. I'm not going to mention companies right now till I'm sure if it works or not, because I don't want you going out buying something that might not work. 5 ball, 2 of these. The difference is what they look like on the other side. That's how I'll know the difference. And we're going to put those in. It doesn't say to put them in water, but I've got a pot of water that's just lukewarm. I want it just like maybe 120 degrees, just to keep these warm, because we are outside. It is cold, and I'd rather it be warm. Now I'm putting all the lids in here. There'll be 7 of them. And like I said, I've got this on the lowest setting just to keep it warm. This is hot. It's ready to go. This is getting there because I want my stuff hot that I put in my jars. Guys, I'm out here. Candy won't shut up. Lucille wasn't being quiet a while ago. She got out and she came around. Lucille came around to the door and kept telling me that she wanted to go back in. So I went and put my chicken back in the pen. I should have videoed that because it was funny. She kept coming to the door. She wouldn't come in the she shed. She'd just come to the door and just cackle. So I went and put her back in. Candy's out here throwing a fit because Danny's in the barn, and she hears me here talking, and she's standing at the gate just staring at me and bellowing. There's Miss Candy. She's standing out there, and she'll bellow ever so often just because she sees me. She's staring straight at me. And, by the way, it's starting to rain. So this is going to be this is going to be an interesting canning video, guys. Alright guys, Danny had to feed Candy just to get her to be quiet so I could get something done. First we're going to put 1 teaspoon of non-iodized sea salt. I have my ring here handy. I have a cloth to wipe the rim because this does have oil and stuff. I'm pretty good with this stainless. It keeps everything in the jar and doesn't get stuff on the rim, but you want a cloth. You can use water or vinegar, your preference, to clean the rim. And this is a paper towel. You can use regular cloths, whatever you want, to get that clean. Now, since I want meat, and I already took the bones out of this. I cooked it yesterday, deboned everything, and then I'm going to put several pieces of meat that I would think for 1 in there. And the broth that I'm doing, when you add about 1/4 cup of rice after you open it and cook it, should absorb and you would have enough rice and meat for one person. I'm not sure. I'll have at least maybe 4 to 5 jars of this, and then we'll do beans, probably black-eyed peas. Almost there. I try to get my ingredients up to this bottom rim. Some people go above it. I don't like to overdo what's in my jar. So I'll set that off over there. We'll wipe this rim. And I do have my debubbler, but I don't think I have to. This is a liquid, so we're not going to debubble just because I don't want to mess something up. And this is magnetized. It takes this out of the water. They're not hot because I can handle them, but they're not room temperature out here because room temperature is 50 degrees right now. So I've got it more like a little over 100 degrees with this. That way, the jars are a little cold, but my broth is not boiling. It is just, I mean, I can put my hands on it. It feels good and warm, but it's not boiling. And we're going to put that, beef broth and beef for rice for one, in the canner, and start with number 2. Now I've got to make sure, yeah, okay, I've got a ball on here. I have some jars that are not canning jars. You can can in them, but you have to water bath can. I make sure I have some emblem on every jar in order to can, because this is going an hour, and I think it's an hour and close to an hour and a half. All right, so I've got 4 jars with broth in it, and I have a little bit of broth left. What I'm going to do with these 3 jars is put 1 teaspoon of salt in each one. Now, I gotta move things around where you can see. I have this old ball jar with a metal lid that has a ring around it that I keep black-eyed peas. I have like 4 or 5 of these on my cabinet. Each one of them has dried beans in it, and that's a lot of dried beans, guys. Now, I have a stainless half a cup. We're going to do half and half. Okay, that equals a whole, right? 2 halves make a whole. And I'm going to do this to all 3. We're going to put a cup in each one. Just telling you why I'm doing 2 of them, because it's not a cup, it's half. Okay. Now, we're through with that. I have a little bit of broth left. I'm going to divide the broth between these 3 and then finish filling it up with water to my rim and get them in the pot. And I'm right-handed, so I'm going to have to do it this way. Now, cooking these an hour and a half in the canner cooks these beans, and they're done and ready to eat. Now, what I'm going to do in just a minute is I'm going to add a little bit of onion and bell peppers to each jar. I have just a little bit left. And it's got a little bit of meat in it, which is not going to hurt those beans at all. In my freezer, I have garlic, onions, and peppers. So the garlic I took and minced down, and I'm just going to put 2 or 3 pieces, because you don't want a lot of garlic in there, you just want a little for flavor. And I'm putting a few pieces over in each jar. Then we're going to do onion. I don't want a lot of onion, but a little bit of onion in each jar. It's very convenient to have chopped onions and chopped peppers in the kitchen at all times. So I'm going to do like a couple of sticks of peppers in each one. Now we're going to fill this on up to this rim, wipe the tops, and put them over in our canner. Seven jars ready, 2 of them with the new lids, 5 with ball lids. We're going to add the lid on top here. Make sure the handles are down. I've got my handles at an angle this way because I didn't want them over this pot when I didn't want steam getting on my handles and making them hot. So I kind of angled it, but we're going to let steam shoot up through here for about 10 minutes. Then we'll add 10 pounds of pressure because I'm in the south and that's what it calls for. This little thing is 5, that is 10. We'll add that after this steams. Okay, so while my pot is getting up to steam, I have a little projects here I have to clean up outside. One is my freeze dryer trays. Yesterday I freeze dried some soup, then I did some carrots, some peppers, and I did eggnog. Eggnog is amazing, guys, even as a powder or rehydrating. Either way, it's awesome. So out here today, Danny was cleaning out his shop and he has some of these older jars like this. We're going to clean these up. Then this cookie thing was out there for whatever reason. It was in the shop and I'm going to clean it up. We can use it, has a rubber gasket like thing on it, so we can use this to store something, cookies. It'll probably go to the cabin. And then he had this little set here. Now I'm going to clean this up because it was out in his shop, but it is a nesting set. This is the heavy duty graniteware, cookware that you can use outside. It would be perfect for our little rocket stoves, things like that. You have that size, this size, and it goes down to this size, and the lids for each. So I got to get busy. I got to clean all this up and get everything out here washed. I like having this system here. It makes it easy to get these big things done. I can put a bowl here and put soap in it and get busy, or I can just wash individually and stack them over here, dry them, and put them away. So this system here works great for big pots, big things like this, because you see how deep this is. It's that deep. And it's this big. I can take this off and I've got that much sink to deal with. And it's got the rack in the bottom that I can just flip things over and let them dry in there. So I love that. So I'm going to get busy here cleaning up. All right, the steam's coming out the top. It's actually coming out both sides now. It's been about 10 minutes, but there's steam. This will pop up in just a second. Or it should. Start building up steam, that'll pop up. And there's a lot of steam because it's cold out here. It makes it look worse. All right, now we wait until this starts dancing. And I tell people you want it dancing like a hula dancer, not like Shakira. Shakira is just like this, bouncing like crazy. A hula dancer, smooth, easy. You want a good steady hula, not a Shakira. And then we'll start with the timing. The jiggler has just started to dance a little, so I'm going to start the timer. So that would be, put me at 10:40. This should come off at 10:40. So we're going to just let it build up a little longer, and I'll adjust the fire as needed because I don't want it to get to dancing like Shakira. If I have to, I will bring the fire down. All right, guys, it's been an hour and a half, 90 minutes. I went and checked to make sure my time. So I let it go for an hour and a half or 90 minutes. We're fixing to turn it off. We'll come back in an hour and a half or 2 hours, let it cool down, take all the jars out, and finish cleaning the kitchen. I cleaned everything up a few minutes ago. So now we're ready to go inside and let this just cool for a while. Everything's down. This has went down. It's been a little over an hour. We're good. No steam, no nothing. But always open away from you in case there's any steam left. You don't want to get it in your face. Ooh, we're already hearing popping. All right, I'm going to take the broth and the meat out first. So there was 4 of those. Now, those look awesome. I have 3 that have the beans in them. They're filled up nicely. The beans look great. They're looking good. The meat and the broth looks awesome. We're going to let these cool. I'm going to set the canner over at the sink. So broth, 1 quart with meat in it. Add half a cup of rice when you open it up. Cook it till your rice is done. If it needs a little bit more moisture and to cook the rice done, you can add a little bit of water. The only thing you would have to add is if you wanted onions, peppers, anything like that, you could add to the broth and then cook your rice. Having 1 quart of beef broth with meat in it is excellent because I can open that quart of broth, dump in half a cup of rice, some salt. If you want onions, peppers, any flavorings, any seasonings you can add to it. Cook it for approximately 20 minutes probably. The rice will get done. If you don't have enough broth in there and the rice isn't quite done, add just a little bit of water at a time, maybe half a cup of water, just to kind of get the rice done. It's according to how you like your rice. The beans. These are black-eyed peas. As you saw, I put a cup of black-eyed peas in here, and the rest was a little bit of beef broth and water, some onions and peppers, and a touch of garlic. Those are ready to eat. All I got to do is open the jar, heat, and eat. Saves a lot of time when you're running in and out from your job or from outside gardening, whatever. You need something to eat. All you got to do is open a jar, warm it up, and you're ready to eat. So, guys, I'm headed in. It's rainy. It's wet outside. I managed to get this done. It's lunchtime. We're going in, building a fire. You can see I'm already bundled up. It's supposed to get down to around 30 tonight. And not warm up too much more than that tomorrow, maybe in the 40s. So it's not South Mississippi weather for sure. Guys, the canning kitchen is closed. Thank you for joining me here at Crazy Days for canning beef broth for one.